snack. Me and you gonna have a little chat about books. Hi guys, so today I am here to review Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie's We Should All Be Feminists, which is a really short 64-page book transcribing of a TED talk that she gave. I don't know an awful lot about feminism. It's not something I've looked into until this book. This is the first feminist book, or explicitly feminist, let's say, book or text that I've ever read. And I wanted to start out with something really short and just kind of see how it was, what it was, whether I wanted to read more of this sort of thing. I have always struggled calling myself a feminist because I think a lot of people, and I would say this is fairly true of a lot of people who are younger, you see the word feminist, and if you don't have a parent who talks to you about it, or you don't have someone who is a role model for you that calls themselves it, you kind of see a lot of negativity surrounding that word. And in the media, it's portrayed to be something quite negative. It's like extreme people are feminists. That's not the case. Most people are. Most people who are good people kind of consider themselves feminists, whether they call themselves that or not. Feminism to me means equality for men and women. Simple as that. Equality for men and women, or anyone of any gender. I don't think gender should define how much you get paid. I don't think gender should define whether you're allowed to do something. I don't think gender should define anything really, except who has the baby. And with modern technology, who knows if that could change as well. Men could have babies in the future. I have no idea. It might be possible. So other than that, there's not a lot that gender defines for me personally. I read this with no real expectation. I hadn't watched the TED Talk, but I did afterwards, and I really liked it. But I hadn't watched the TED Talk when I read this, and so I'm just going to talk about this. I definitely felt like this was really good in some ways and really couldn't connect with it in others. Chimamanda actually grew up in Nigeria. That's where she's originally from, and so in Nigeria, some of the things that she talks about, they're quite prejudiced against women there. Not intentionally, just some of the things that happen are kind of prejudice. And that is things like if you give someone money and you're a female but with a male, then they will thank the male. If you go to a bar or a club or a restaurant with a male and you're female, they will greet the male, they won't greet you. Now this isn't something I've personally experienced where I'm from, which is England. I haven't experienced that. I've always been greeted by a waiter as well as my boyfriend, and we've never had one of us be greeted and the other one not. So that's not something I could personally connect with. However, it is something that I understand, and I definitely thought that it was wrong. It shouldn't be that way. You should be greeted as an equal because you are. Whether you're female, whether you're male, makes no sense for you not to be. And so there were some things in here that I didn't necessarily completely have experience with, but I could definitely understand where she was coming from, and the fact that that was wrong in my eyes, like, shouldn't be something that people do. However, I have experienced some elements of prejudice in my life against gender, and it's not been anything like really bad. I haven't had a bad experience where I have been told you are a female, you cannot do this because you are a female. That's never happened to me really. I've grown up in a privileged society where I've been lucky enough not to have that happen to me, and I'm very, very grateful for that. But I know people have had that sort of thing, and one of the things I think a lot of people in the West talk about is harassment, something like that, where you get raped, where people get harassed on the street, and all of these derogatory things are said about them. Also, people like asking for it when it comes to a rape and things like that. That's something that a lot of people discuss in the West because we don't necessarily have as much hierarchy when it comes to men over women. In some places, take everything I say with a pinch of salt because it's very hard to talk about this topic without knowing an awful lot about it, and I'm still forming my own views on it. Basically, I personally haven't experienced what she experienced, but I do recognise that it's a problem. So although I couldn't fully connect with everything in this, I definitely got her points, and I definitely have experienced things of that similar nature with friends in the past or with people I don't know in the past. Things have happened like heckling and people being horrible because they think they can get away with it because you're not going to say anything. Things like that have happened in the past to me, and I'm sure to everyone, not just females, but I do think it's more prominent in females that you will be more likely to get heckled on the street, you will be more likely to be grabbed in a nightclub and groped, you will be more likely to get into a situation that is not nice, essentially. It happens to men, 100%, but females seem to get it more often. And this book, short as it may be, talked about how we can move on from that. Feminism should be something that everyone is interested in, whether you are a man or a woman, because most people, even if they're not a straight man who goes out with a woman, so they don't have that connection, most people will know a combination of men and women in their life, whether it be their mother, whether it be their grandmother, whether it be a friend, a sister, whatever it may be, a lover, doesn't matter. You will know someone who is a female in your life, and you may not see it overtly, but they will have gone through something that is outrageous and that is not nice, and that is something they've had to deal with, whether it is just a comment that someone said, whether it is someone trying to grope them, whether it is someone being obliquely nasty to them, whatever it is, it will have happened. And that's a very, very unfortunate thing in today's society, that we still have this problem where it seems like a divide between men and women. And I don't want that to be there. I want it to be everyone's equal. If someone says a horrible comment, it's as likely to go to a man or a woman. But if we're in an equal society, let's just have no comments like that. Let's not have that sort of thing go on. And if people do it, then they're in the wrong for being a nasty person, not in the wrong for being prejudiced against women. I want equality. That's what Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie is talking about in this book, and she also lists some of the ways that she thinks we can go forward. She talks about educating the children that we have in our generation and teaching them that they shouldn't be based on their gender, whether they can do something, whether they're allowed to do something, whether they're permitted to do something, shouldn't be based on gender, whether they're a man or a woman. Men shouldn't be expected to be the one who pay for stuff. Men shouldn't be the one who have to go out and work. Women can just as easily do it in today's society. We've evolved, we've got better, we've got stronger, and things are different from how they were in cavemen times. So it's a very level playing field in terms of what people have the ability to do nowadays. However, it isn't being echoed in pay, it isn't being echoed in society. And that's something that needs to change. And the best way to do that is to start with your everyday life, and also start with your children, because they are the future, essentially. If we educate our children to grow up and to try their best at whatever they do, whatever gender they are, and have dreams and dream big, no matter what they look like, no matter what genitalia they have, it shouldn't matter, because whatever they want to go into should be okay. If a girl wants to be a plumber, go for it. If a guy would like to be a beautician, go for it. That's what we should be judging people on. We should be judging them on what they want to do, what they have a passion for, what they're good at, and their dreams. We should be inspiring children. We should be inspiring them to do things that they want to do because they want to do them, not because that is what we have decided as a society you should do if you're a man, or you should do if you're a woman. Gender roles need to be a thing of the past. It's not something that is sustainable anymore, because people don't live like that, and it's definitely not something that I have experienced in my relationship. We have a very equal relationship, that we both do whatever we need to do. If I do the cooking, he does the washing up. If I do the washing up, he does the cooking. It's fine either way round. I don't mind. We have an equal playing field, and I think that's one of the reasons that a lot of people today would say this doesn't happen anymore. People are fine. It does happen, and whether you see it obviously or not, talk to one of your friends who is female, talk to a sister, talk to your mum, and ask them, have you ever had anything happen, even if it's something tiny, something small, what happened that was prejudice against you for your gender? And something will come up, because it always does. I think I'm going to get some disagreements in the comments. That is totally fine. Everyone is entitled to their own opinion, and I'm definitely not going to shout anyone down. However, if people are just plain right abusive, I will delete your comment. I don't want people like that on my channel, so you can go away. Equally, this book was the start of a journey for me, and I do want to read more about feminism, because I don't know an awful lot about it. I just know what I believe right now, which is everyone should be equal, and I know some of the ways that I personally am going to do and think about and try and put into action for us to go forwards as a society, and me to go forwards. And that's what I know. The first thing I'm going to do is try and read some more feminist non-fiction and feminist fiction, because I haven't read much of it and this was the start point for that. I'm also going to then talk to people about it, because that's the best way to get people's opinions and feedback and ideas and share stuff. That's what I'm going to do. Those are my first 2 steps. I would love to hear if you guys are the same as me and only sort of starting on this journey of discovering it, what you think you're going to do, whether you will pick this up, whether you'll pick up something else, whether you'll just go and read some articles on the internet. Whatever you want to do is the right approach in my mind, and I would love for more people to get interested in this and talk about it in a civilised, nice way, not an abusive way. However, back to this book, this was a start point for me, is what I'm trying to say. It was a start point of something that I'm hoping will be really wonderful in the future, and because of that, I gave this a 3.5 stars. I didn't agree with everything she said, and I hadn't got experience with everything she said, and it was quite short, so it couldn't cover everything. There was no way it could have fit into this tiny book. But it was a start point, it was interesting, and it got me thinking, and it got me into the mindset of wanting to learn more, and I think that is one of the best mindsets you can be in about a topic. So I do want to learn more. I gave this 3.5. I really enjoyed it. I would love to hear your thoughts if you've read this, or if you've read anything else that you would consider feminist or that you think I should read in the future. Please do leave me nice comments in the comments below. I would love to hear good, solid, well-rounded arguments and nice opinions, not abuse. And I will see you all soon. Thank you all for watching. I know this is kind of a different video, but yeah, I just wanted to share some of my views on it with you guys and see if any of you shared them. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you all again soon in another video. Bye. Me and you gonna have a little chat about the